Yo, what is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So how is Shopify dropshipping changing in 2021? Now, it's no secret that this year has been a wild ride for Shopify dropshipping. A lot of e-commerce businesses changed the way they do business. A lot of e-commerce businesses even went out of business during this time period. But one thing is definitely true, and that is all e-commerce individuals, regardless of whether they're dropshipping or running actual brands, learned a lot of things during this year. And it is important for you as a dropshipper or as a brand builder to know how to make next year much better compared to this year. Now, this year could have been great for you. I know this year was really good for me when it comes to business, but definitely a lot of unfortunate things happened. But the name of the game is to always continue to adapt, always continue to find different ways to make sure that you are able to consistently grow throughout this period. So in this video, I'm going to be going over exactly what you can be sort of expecting to change when it comes to Shopify dropshipping in 2021, and exactly how you can adapt to these changes and how you can change your store so you're profitable throughout the next year regardless of what happens. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. The first thing you'll have to do in order to find any kinds of success with this strategy, however, is to just destroy that like button down below. It'll take just 2 quick seconds and it'll help please the YouTube gods. Okay, hopefully I've done that. But the first thing that we're going to start talking about is the competition, because of course the competition has changed significantly from this year and it will continue to change starting next year and onward. So what should you be expecting when it comes to competition? The first thing I'd like to show you guys is this little chart right here. So this chart is actually an ad spending chart. As you can see, based on the graphs over here, we can see light blue line right here is the percent of total media ad spending, meaning how much was actually spent in total for advertising, and this percent change right here. So the black bar graph itself is actually for digital ad spending, so that's the overall ad spending in total. And as you can see, the projected growth from this chart right here, and this can be found on emarketer.com, but it is continuing to go upwards. In 2019 it was around 325 billion in total ad spending. In 2020 it was around 332 billion. So as you can see, even though this year was really a bad year for a lot of people, the total ad spending for e-commerce did definitely increase based on the previous year, and in 2021 it is bound to increase again. And there are several reasons as to why this could happen. Reason number one is that this year taught a lot of people to spend more time indoors, to spend more time on their computer or their other electronic devices. What that kind of did is it kind of shifted the entire mentality about shopping and just changed it from going into real actual stores to now just sitting at home and clicking buttons to buy stuff. So this is the main reason why this chart is sort of showing a very positive growth within the next upcoming years, simply because things are definitely looking much better than before for e-commerce. And this is one question a lot of dropshippers have, and that is dropshipping really sustainable long term? Can I make money from this and make it my long-term career? And the answer is yes. Based on this chart and based on what you've already seen, it can definitely happen, and it is already happening for a lot of people. So ad spending as a whole is changing, but what does that really mean for you personally as a dropshipper? So what that's going to mean is that a lot of people are getting into dropshipping to find a different income source, and a lot of people that were already dropshipping are now spending more money advertising and trying to make it work with Shopify. And it doesn't matter what really advertising platform they're using, this overall advertising spend is definitely increasing. One thing you want to understand is that there's a big shift of dropshippers coming from Facebook ads onto Google in search of something more consistent. So if you're someone who uses Google, this means more competition for you and even greater ad spend as a whole. So it's really important that you pay attention to what kinds of things you're doing, and which I'll be talking about very soon. But definitely keep in mind that more people are coming from Facebook and other advertising platforms onto Google. In addition, what I've personally noticed is that there's a large number of copycat dropshipping stores nowadays that are getting popped up and running ads on Google. I've had my own store copied tens of times already, and the main issue with this is that those dropshipping stores which are fully copied from others don't really have a chance of working, simply because if it were that easy to do business, then everybody would be millionaires by now. But this is definitely changing the way e-commerce is done, especially with Google ad rules, Facebook ad rules, because as a lot of you have already noticed, Facebook ads, even Google ads is starting to ban a lot more new Shopify stores simply because they don't really follow the rules that are laid out, and they're too similar to other dropshipping stores. And nowadays dropshipping stores are very easy to point out, which makes it even harder to run a store. So it's really important that you know exactly what you're doing, what kind of design that you're doing with your store, but more on that later on. But in addition to that, talking specifically about advertising platforms, there have been a bunch of new problems which have kind of come up with these advertising platforms. The first thing is a lot more merchant center bans. If you already have a Shopify store that's running with Google Ads, you already know how hard it is nowadays to get approved to the merchant center. And basically for almost no reason at all, Google Ads is banning a lot of these merchant centers, maybe because they resemble a lot of the other dropshipping stores, and it has become much easier for Google Ads to know which is a dropshipping store and which is not a dropshipping store. But Google is not alone. With Facebook ads, it's basically the same thing. A lot of policy violations are causing ad account bans, even though you have not really violated any policy. And it has become really important to have multiple ad accounts when it comes to Facebook ads just to deal with this. So what this is causing is a lot of panic amongst advertisers because they're not really sure what to do, what advertising platform to use or trust. But in addition, there has been a new situation now with Facebook where Facebook is fighting against Apple regarding some policy changes which Apple and Facebook are not really agreeing with, and this is causing more changes with the Facebook ads platform itself. But overall, this is just leading to performance issues with advertising platforms. What that simply means is that there's been a lot more fluctuations recently with these platforms, and a lot of dropshippers or a lot of just e-commerce store owners in general are not really getting the results that they were aiming at getting, which is causing a lot of frustration and again causing them to do things such as copy other dropshippers. But if that was not enough, then there's more about the payment gateways. Nowadays with payment gateways, they're looking for certain criteria when it comes to the products, when it comes to what you really offer your customers, and they're really against the chargebacks and disputes because not only does it hurt your business, but it also hurts their business as a bank, which is why they're becoming more and more strict with the payment gateways. And in addition to payment gateways, customers are now beginning to expect a lot of different things. One thing that they specifically are looking towards expecting is a faster delivery time, specifically 2 to 7 days. Now this number I did not just pull out of the air. This is simply more geared towards what Amazon offers, what a lot of eBay sellers offer, and a lot of what other online US e-commerce websites offer. So this rate is actually ideal for a lot of the customers and what they expect during this time period. But in addition to faster delivery times, they also expect product quality. Nowadays, what I notice is that because of whatever happened during this year, people just don't want to deal with returns, refunds, etc., because that means touching a lot of unnecessary stuff, and we all know what the fear behind that is. But because of that, they're expecting higher product quality. They're wanting to make sure that whatever they receive is actually good quality and acceptable so that they don't have to deal with having to return that product or get a refund for it, because that would mean a lot of unnecessary extra work, and they want to keep themselves and their family safe. So these are two main things which customers are expecting nowadays, and what I know they will expect also in 2021 and onwards. But before you think it's all doom and gloom and there's nothing left to do, there are several different things you can do. Now, talking about specifically how to dropship profitably in 2021, the first thing you'll have to definitely do is to diversify your advertising platforms. It is no longer a thing which you just think about, but rather something you actually have to do, and you have to learn about these different advertising platforms. There's a bunch of videos out there on YouTube. There's a bunch of articles out there on Google which you can watch regarding these different advertising platforms. And by different advertising platforms, I just don't mean Facebook and Google. There's a bunch of other ones like Bing, Pinterest, Instagram influencers, TikTok, etc., which you can use and learn more about. So I definitely recommend that you start looking into that and start implementing some of those different platforms into your business. But in addition to that, you want to, if you specifically want to start a Google Ads store, maybe try creating a one product store to begin with to get verified with the merchant center. This is one hack I just read about while scrolling through one of the Facebook groups. If you want to join a free Facebook group, I have a Facebook group related to Shopify Dropshipping. You can find the link in the description below. But in that Facebook group, someone mentioned something about creating a one product store, which makes it easy for Google to verify things, but also easy for you to kind of get your store approved. Once it's approved, then you can go ahead and add multiple products to it. But in the beginning, this is something you may want to try if you're facing issues with your merchant center account. But in addition to that, another big thing that you can start doing is have a complete change of layout for your store. This does not mean just move things around a little bit, maybe have different product categories. It means completely do something different so you don't look like a normal dropshipping store. That means using a paid theme instead of those free themes, maybe designing it in a way so that it matches that of a real brand rather than just some other dropshipping store out there. For products, maybe try not to use AliExpress in the beginning until you get approved for your ad accounts, maybe with Facebook or Google. But this is done to kind of show these advertising platforms that you're not just another dropshipper trying to make a quick buck, because that is exactly what the image of dropshipping is amongst a lot of these advertising platforms. So this will let you kind of get through their systems and prevent your accounts from getting banned so that you can actually advertise with them. Then once it's all approved and all ready to go, then you can slowly start making the changes that you want to change. But definitely something I would try, especially if you're trying to go into Facebook or Google ads. But in addition to that, another thing I would definitely recommend you start looking into from the beginning is dropshipping agents and or eBay to source your products from rather than AliExpress. Now with AliExpress, I already made a video on how I get items from the United States using AliExpress. You can check that out on my channel. But one thing you can do is basically change the ships from option to United States on AliExpress, and that'll help you find some products which actually get shipped from the US so that you don't have to rely for stuff coming from China. In addition, if you don't really want to rely on AliExpress, use dropshipping agents. There's a lot out there. One that I recommend and I personally use is CJ Dropshipping. You can find a wide variety of different products on that website as well. Just go to cjdropshipping.com and they'll be able to help you out more in case you want to kind of connect your store with their platform. But in addition, one thing I use often now is eBay. Make sure to use eBay if you really want to get those products fast. I don't really recommend Amazon anymore because nowadays they're starting to ban those people that place too many orders on Amazon going to different shipping addresses. So that's definitely one big problem with Amazon, and that could lead to a lot of problems if you source a lot of your products from Amazon. But in addition to that, focus on better customer service. If you really can't find better shipping options, just at least get back to the customer on time, and that means within 24 hours. That's going to help them keep themselves at ease, make sure that they weren't scammed from your store. And that's really all a customer wants in 2021 and onwards, because they've already dealt with a lot this past year. They just want some peace and quiet and some comfort from the places that they're shopping with. So if you provide them that, they will be much more likely to shop with you and not really get mad if there is some sort of delay. But finally, the thing I would like to end with is make sure to have multiple payment gateways. Payment gateways is one of the biggest issues of 2021 that I see could happen. So make sure you have some backup payment gateways in case you get banned from one. You can just simply connect to another and start using that to get your payments and start selling. But this is exactly how Shopify dropshipping may change in 2021 and exactly what you personally can do to make sure to be on the good side of 2021 and not the bad side. But if you found any type of value in this video, destroy that like button and destroy that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.